What's up, my dudes? Mxgp Pro 2. Let's talk about it. So, I wanted to get in there and kind of talk about this little evolution of this, pro physics kind of thing and how they might potentially continue that, and that's really what it's all about here. I mean, I don't know if we're ever going to get an actual Mxgp Pro 2 per se, but it's kind of a... I just not exactly sure where they're going to go from here. I don't know. Are they going to go official Monster Energy Supercross 2? Are they going to go, like, I have no clue. Yeah, are they going to go Lucas Oil official motocross game? Highly doubt it, but possible. I don't know. They're in a kind of a interesting little place if you've been following the games for a little while here. But I feel like at this point, with the pro physics thing, like, you might as well at least have this level of physics in the next game. I feel like we're all basically expecting that. You know how they kind of, when they were first talking about this Mxgp Pro, they were like, oh, this is just a pro game for the people that want that kind of experience, right? That was kind of the whole thing they were saying before the game came out, acting as if they were only going to do that for like this game and not really the next one. But I think we're to the point now where it's like you'd better have these physics, and even a little better in the next game, especially in error wise. So I feel like we can all pretty much agree on that. Maybe tone down a little bit of that random popping off the bike, like it just such awkward, weird times. They did fix that a little bit in an update, if I'm not mistaken, but continuing to kind of work upon that, add a little bit more movement on the bike. Still feels a little bit on that stiff side, especially in the air, and just kind of working on just overall jump design, the way the bike comes off of faces and how much you can hook up on the bike and all that type of, the normal stuff I talk about a lot. But I just think as far as like an Mxgp Pro 2, it's interesting, right? Because it's like, if you think about that, then it's almost like you'd be thinking about a simulator mixed with an arcade motocross game. Now, this first Mxgp Pro that I'm playing right here, this is not even remotely like a simulator whatsoever. And to some of you guys saying, well, it wasn't even supposed to be a simulator, Spencer. That is not even what they were trying to do. Well, what do you call it then, dog? They've got their basic arcade motocross game, and then they come out with this pro version with these pro physics that are way more like real life physics, way more advanced physics. That's like trying to be more of a simulator. I don't know how much more, they can do to make it seem like that, bro. Like, and I don't know. I mean, it's just like, man, I understood that this game wasn't going to be exactly like MX Simulator, right? Like, I got that aspect of it, but I think some people were thinking it was going to be a lot more simulator than it was. I think that's a little bit of a twisted thing that happened there from the get-go. But, I mean, personally, it's to the point now where it's almost like this is just the expected in not even the next pro, quote-unquote pro milestone game. Just a normal motocross game, this level of physics is kind of expected, ground physics. I mean, I honestly think we're to that point here. You can let me know in the comments what you guys think, but that's kind of where I'm at, right? I don't think this is just like a one-time thing. I think that's more of a, all the games from now on need to have like this pro physics option that's actually like next level. And it's just so weird. It's like, yeah, it is pro physics, but they've always had a pro physics options in their game. But it's like this one just tried to take it a little bit farther. Whoa, dude. Was that a James Stewart's Grove I've ever seen one? Oh my god. And then I crashed on a 5-foot double. Sick. It's just hard to explain the way the game's got its weird little, like, it's like a wannabe simulator kind of bugs that it has to the game. Just such bizarre little pop-off areas and certain stuff like that'll happen. But yeah, man, I mean, I don't know. I'm surely we'll get another MXGP game. They're just hardcore on that sort of series. I figure we'll get another one of those soon, and maybe they'll go for that, official Monster Energy Supercross 2. That's definitely potential for sure. And I'm sure we'll just get better graphics, hopefully better in-air physics. If I'm, kind of doing my normal Spencer Turley scheming back here, kind of thinking of what they're thinking, I'm thinking that the next milestone game that you see is going to have quite massive advancements in air physics and whip design. I don't think they're going to continue down the road. I pray to God that they don't continue down the road of the whips feeling like a hit one button and it plays an animation, right? We can all agree that's absolute ass and a half. I think it's, and they realize it. Like, it's to the point where it's just like, man, it kills so much of that in-air fun and stuff like that. And I just hope that they understand that. And it's got some potential, man. You know, if you think about that, like, especially if they go in there and, you know, really improve their track editor elements and really put that in the next game. And I mean, it's to the point now where it's really got some legit potential, I feel like, and their on-ground physics are definitely, you know, still making improvements and stuff from the Official Monster Energy Supercross game to this game. I felt like the on-ground physics are a little better in this game. I really do. Like, they do feel different than the Official Monster Energy Supercross game. Not like to an insanity level, like, oh my gosh, this is so much more pro than that. It's just like, it just feels a little bit more advanced than that, but kind of seemed like they went backwards on the in-air stuff, personally, just from what I've felt in the game and stuff like that. But maybe getting more of a realistic kind of roughness vibe to it might help, and pre-made little smaller ruts, cool stuff like that might be a, you know, a bit of an advancement they could go towards. And I think their mud, you know, system and all that's fairly decent in their games. I don't really know how much more you can really do to that and make it all that much better, other than, you know, make certain tracks possibly a little more slicker than they are. But other than that, I think it's pretty solid, you know. And then the graphical aspect, it's the best in any motocross game. So it's like, how much more can you really do on that? I don't know. It's kind of what the milestone games did. It's just one of those, like, it's just certain things I feel like if they can just nail it, they would have such a better game. You know, giving you more controller options on the whips, fixing this weird, like, twitch effect system in first person on Mxgp Pro, having it to where, you know, having all the different bikes, right? The 2-stroke, don't do any more of that 4-stroke only crap, which thank God they didn't do that in Mxgp Pro. But just, and then the more track content, you know, if they think about if they can evolve their jump fill, in-air fill, really giving you more of a jumping up in the air filling, better whip system, all that kind of stuff, and maybe they add freestyle tricks or something into their games, do all of that, right? Add backflips, the whole 9 yards. A lot of people see, and this is really weird, but I've seen quite a few comments, people saying, of course, they could just be trolling. I get that a lot, but a lot of them seem to be kind of making the argument of, like, well, why would MXGP or a Milestone motocross game have really amazing in-air physics? You know, they try to bring up the argument of, like, why would you even want to whip really big, man? Like, why would you want to do that? Why would you want to do freestyle tricks? That's not even what the game's about. I'm just so, like, tired. I'm so, like, tired of those people, man. It's just, oh, they're so basic mindset. They don't get, like, if this game had all of that, you know how much better it would be for everybody? Like, if you don't want to do tricks, you don't have to do tricks. If you don't want to whip, you don't have to do whips. If you think it kind of looks unrealistic or whatever, just don't do them. But I'm just saying, for a very massive majority of the motocross community, a lot of us are just free riders. A lot of us are just wanting to have fun, go out there, see how big we can whip, see how big we can jump. You know, that kind of whole side of it, and the freestyle messing around, backflipping, can't try to do a double backflip, try to do, you know, whatever, the kind of little tricks and stuff, and jumping's just such a fun aspect to it. And so it's kind of like that thing of, like, a lot of us do want that in these milestone games, and that's something that's kind of totally missing from it. You know, it's so weird, but it's like everything that MX versus ATV All Out does well, MXGP Pro does bad. And everything that MXGP Pro does well, MX versus ATV All Out does bad. It's so weird. That's, like, seriously, I don't think I've ever spoken anything more true than that right there. God dang. Like, I just came up with that, but, like, it's so for real. It's so serious. Like, think about that, though. They're polar opposites. Like, everything the one game does really good, the other one does not good at all. Like, MX versus ATV All Out, the air physics, amazing, jump physics, skill gap, supercross skill gap, rhythm skill gap, you know, whip, just like this endless amounts of filling of types of whips you can do, and cool tricks and all kinds of crazy stuff like that, and tons of content into that game. Motocross, supercross, free ride, quite a few different little free ride tracks, all that kind of stuff in there. But it's lacking on ground physics in MX versus ATV All Out. You know, it doesn't have that cool natural slide motion, lacking in graphical aspect for the modern day, I would say, for sure. MX vs. ATV All Out's kind of lacking in that, that category, and that's something that Mxgp Pro does really well. Graphics, on-ground physics, real bikes, all that real manufacture, that whole side of it. Whereas MX vs. ATV All Out, you got to pay extra DLC for the bikes and all that. So, yeah, they're just opposite games in that sense. But maybe we can get to the point where I hope both game companies can sort of get more of what they're missing. Not just these milestone games, but also the MX vs. ATV series. I really hope they can do that. It'll be a cool world, man, where we can, here in like a year or two, if we can get both of these game companies to the point where they're getting a lot more of what each one of them are missing in their games, and we've got more of a full experience in both games, right? So it gets to a point where, it's like people can enjoy both of them if they want to and still enjoy simulator and all that kind of stuff to it, man. So either way, MXGP Pro 2, maybe they can come up with, some more adjustments. Maybe there's that's the whole thought of it, right? It's like, are they eventually going to try to do a true simulator mixed with the arcade motocross game? Or are they eventually going to try to do a full-blown simulator? Like what? Because this wasn't that at all. This wasn't even really close to that. So this is just like normal arcade physics to me, personally. This isn't even anything like what you call, true like simulator, because this game doesn't even have a stability slider, right? Like if you don't have a stability slider, you don't have a simulator, and it's really just that simple. When you look at it, like it needs stability sliders, needs like some sort of rider weight adjustment thing. It needs all of the like a certain amount of quickness on how much you pull up, all the different types of it has a lot of the gearing and the like suspension change stuff. I feel like it doesn't make quite as big of a difference in this as it does like, obviously a simulator. So I don't know if we'll ever get a simulator mixed with a arcade game like, what LCQ Studios is kind of trying to do. I don't really know if Milestone will ever go down that road. Maybe there's just like a one-time thing and then they'll never do this kind of thing ever again. That could be the case for the next game. I don't really know why they would do that. I would assume they would try to keep the majority of these ground physics here and kind of just advance upon that. Personally, that's what I would think they would do, and I hope they do that and then just improve upon their air physics a bit and not have such a clunky, like, it's almost kind of like trying to be a simulator in the air, but it has trouble. It has its like little buggy troubles while it's doing it. Maybe they can just kind of, take more from the official Monster Energy Supercross games, air physics, somehow manage to put those in, make better, more difficult rhythms, make it more risky coming up short, make it actually slow down your momentum when you come up short on something versus just like always randomly popping you off like it does in this game. Instead of having just always that, like in the official Monster Energy Supercross game, if you came up short, you just bounced off of it. It's like you never even lost any momentum, never even lost any speed. Then it was like, then you got to this game and it's like totally extreme. If you overjump something by 0.25 inches, you're dead, bro. You're coming off of that bike. So it's like they got to find a middle ground somewhere, man. It's that balance that they're missing on these milestone games, I feel like. But once they find that, man, it'll be a solid game. I'm so ready for it to get to the day where I can just get on there and really like enjoy a milestone motocross game for an extended period of time because it's got enough of a skill gap to its physics system, right? Not only ground, but in air, and actually having fun rhythms, fun jumps, a cool whip system to it, right? I can't wait till the day that comes, man. A lot of people think I'm like, just trying to continue on this like hating milestone and I don't even want the next game to be good. Dude, I wish the next game would blow Reflex so far out of the fucking water that it ain't even funny. That's what I wish it would do. And same goes with the modern MX vs. ATV games. I wish they would blow Reflex totally out of the water. To be completely honest with you, I've expected them to blow Reflex out of the water. And, Milestone has graphically, but I'm talking about like skill gap, track design, physics, feel, in-air, and ground combined. That's what I'm really talking about, not graphics in particular, but I hope these games can get it to that point, man, where they're way better than Reflex. Maybe they come out with a sick-ass track editor and it totally takes over that PC Reflex, kind of community. And, I mean, I love that community, don't get me wrong, and I started on Reflex, but I'm wanting the new games to get to that point. like I'm wanting them to get to that advanced level so that a lot of the new fans to the motocross games can see what the hell I'm talking about when I talk about how Reflex was so amazing. You know, they can see that. Like, I want a newer game to get to that level so that they understand what a good arcade motocross game actually is. And it's just like it's been so lost over the past few years. I feel like they're making steps though. They're making progression. It seemed like back in the MXGP 2, 3, and then like MX versus ATV, Supercross, and Encore, those were probably the worst times I've ever seen for motocross games. But now, with MX versus ATV All Out, really freeing up the whips, kind of getting that figured back out, getting back into the more content, motocross, Supercross, then you got Mxgp Pro out here trying. They got the track editor in the official Monceu Supercross game. They got really trying to go in there and make more advanced, with Supercross stuff. It's like both companies are trying. I just don't feel like they're quite there yet. They ain't got it quite figured out for a full package, full-blown game in that sense. So either way, man, appreciate you guys watching all the videos. Later, dudes.